William Samoei Arap Ruto, the man I call the King of the Rift, is in the know. He's championing the know, and with reason. Whoa! Land, go for it.
Jeff, let me mention about land. The reason we have war in Palestine, and I have been to Israel, they are fighting over a piece of rock.
Yes. Strip of land.
Strip of land.
Yes.
You know, Golan Heights.
Correct.
This country, we almost went to war with Uganda because of a piece of rock called Migingo, which is half an acre. So land is an issue that you don't take lightly. In the Constitution, there are 4 critical issues I want to mention. Article 43A of the draft Constitution removes any constitutional protection from property called land. That is on the Bill of Rights. The right to your property is protected except if that property is land. What are you telling the middle class like Jeff who want to buy a flat, they want to buy a house, they want to invest in property? You're telling them their investment in property, whether they are buying a house or they are buying an office or they are buying a plot to build a factory, has no constitutional protection. That's one. And I want Kenyans to read. We are not talking here stories. Number 2, the Constitution now provides for a monster called the National Land Commission, which is no different from the Commission of Lands. The mismanagement of land in this country, especially in Rift Valley and Coast, has been because decisions have been made at the center without the involvement of people at the grassroots. And you end up with a person with a title deed because he can access corridors of power in Nairobi with a title deed and going to look for the land because he doesn't know where it is.
It's called land grabbing.
Call it land grabbing, call it whatever you want to call it, but that's what's going on, and that's what is going to be perpetuated by this Constitution. Number 3, which is much more serious. The Constitution now provides for Section 67(2)(e) says the National Land Commission, on its own initiative or through a complaint, will now begin to look at ancestral land injustices. My brother Jeff, to me, we are taking this country the wrong direction. Because in Rift Valley, for example, if you begin to talk about who lived where, whose land is ancestrally whose, for example, the whole of Kitale, the Luyas, the Kisis, many of the Kalenjin subtribes who are there today will have to move out because that land ancestrally belonged to the Pokot, the Cherangani, the Sengwer, and the Sabaot.
Oh, but that's a little extreme, Weshimiwa.
It is not extreme, it is in the Constitution. I would challenge you to go and read it. That's it. What will happen to the land clashes that we have had all these years in the Rift Valley? You are actually giving it now constitutional recognition that these people have genuinely been fighting over land which is ancestrally theirs. What will happen with the fights in Kayabombo, in Mombasa? What are we doing to our country through the Constitution? Because some non-governmental organizations sneaked these kind of provisions into the Constitution, and people already, I challenge you, 2 weeks ago in the Standard, Masai were already claiming Nyachae's land in Narok. They were telling him, this is our ancestral land, pack and leave. Do we really want to go that direction? The same National Land Commission, the Constitution says, we are now going to take private land. I'm talking private land, and prescribe minimum and maximum land acreages. And I just want you to understand what it means.
Yeah.
Already the government, when Amos Kimunya was Minister for Lands, said the minimum land acreages in arable land should be 2.5 acres. I want to tell you as former Minister for Agriculture, that 90% of tea is grown by small-scale farmers on 1 acre and less. What are you telling those farmers?
Okay, but let me ask you this.
No. I mean, what are you telling those farmers? That the minimum acreage they can have is 2.5 acres.
No, it doesn't say that there.
That's exactly what it says. Go and read, Jeff. Don't hear stories.
But
go and read.
But that clause is
That
for
is-
people with thousands, and you know there's tens of thousands of acres, and they're doing nothing with it.
That is a lie. That is a lie that the public is being told. You are being told about the maximum. You are not being told about the minimum.
But how many Kenyans own land, Mheshimiwa?
Millions of Kenyans own land less than 2.5 acres. It's only thousands of Kenyans who may be owning land more than 1,000 acres. For the record, I don't have 1,000 acres.
How much do you have?
I have 100 acres which I bought. Are we together?
We're together.
So, let me tell you, the constitution on the land chapter is going to create a crisis in this country of unimaginable scale. This same constitution says now land is going to be taxed. Yeah? It's going to be taxed. Majority, 80% of poor people live in the rural areas on land. Those poor guys, they are the ones who own a piece of acre, 1 acre, 5 acres, 3 acres, 2 acres. If you are going to put tax on land, on farmers which are peasant farmers, they are already poor. You are going to tax their land and households. Where are you going to take this country?
What about the people with tens of thousands of acres? Let's say the church.
Those ones they can afford to pay.
Big landowners.
They can afford to pay.
But they're not paying right now. We're just trying to get some revenue.
They can afford to pay. But the small landowners, who is going to pay for them? How are they going to be taken care of? I am not bothered about the people who have 1,000 acres and 2,000 acres. They can go to court. They can go and pay land rates. They can sell their piece of land. I am talking about because this country is being focused and cheated that it is about the big landowners. It is not about the big landowners. And if it is, the bigger problem is going to be with the small landowners. Let me say, Jeff, that we are underestimating the problem that we are going to create on the land chapter. And believe you me, I do not want to be party, and I do not want to be on the side of the leaders who presided over the impoverishment of other Kenyans and over creating a confusion in this country that is going to cause a total resettlement of Kenyans. And I do not want to be part of that bandwagon.
Okay, that's heavy, but we'll take that another time.